I didn't think I'd need to make this video, but I still see tons of home service businesses out there that are not doing this one simple thing. And by doing this, you will not only increase the amount of business that is attracted to you, but you'll also be able to just gain a lot more trust with your customers and potential customers. So that way, converting them becomes much easier. So let's get into it here. What we're talking about is reputation and why a great reputation will win every single time. So, what's very important here, and the stat that I found, is that 86% of people hesitate to do business with a company if it has too many negative reviews. Same thing goes if they don't really have any reviews at all, and they don't, say you only have 10 to 20 reviews and one or two of them is a bad review. It just doesn't look very good, especially to a customer that's comparing you against companies that maybe have 1,000 5-star reviews or 500 5-star reviews, or even 100 5-star reviews and 5 1-star reviews. So it's very important to make sure that our reputation is awesome, so that way we can win as much as possible. So for those of you guys that don't know me, my name's Sam. I'm the founder of Nexera. And what my business does is we basically just automate key sales and marketing tasks, so that way your home service business can run with less stress, lower costs, and help you bring in more revenue. What we're going to be covering today is the Reputation Shielding SOP. This is the exact framework that I used in my pest control business that I used to grow it to over $1.8 million in annual recurring revenue and gain over 500 plus 5-star reviews. So if you want access to these SOPs, just click the link below. I have them all available to you guys. No questions asked. Just click the link, fill out a quick form, and I'll send them right on over to you. In here, you'll have access to about 10 different SOPs that are either for contractors or recurring service providers. I divvy up some of these just because they don't always apply to both sides of the business. These are two completely different business models, so I create my operating procedures around what is most effective for that business. Now, I've had experience on the recurring side as well as the residential design and install, landscaping side firsthand. So I've been able to see both sides of these businesses and see okay, what systems are needed here and what systems are needed there to make sure that everything runs like a well-oiled machine. So back to what I was saying before, today we are talking about reputation shielding and making sure that we can stand, out and just be a very strong option with our competition. So let's get into it. So this is basically what most home service business owners do. They'll get a new customer. It's a great experience. They have an amazing service with the team. And then you guys just move right on to the next job, which isn't bad. But what ends up happening is you'll either not send a follow-up or a review request, and that leaves you with stagnant reviews. So it's very quiet. Almost looks like you're sleeping, not even running a business. Or you will send a review link, which is awesome if you're doing that. You're already ahead of the curve. But what I see more often than not, and what it was like in my pest control business, is these would get automatically sent from our operating software. So I used Field Routes, a Service Titan company. So they were amazing, super easy. I would recommend them if you have any sort of field route management business. But the reviews and feedback that we would get and like the automation behind like sending that review link would just all be held internally. So we'd get a 5-star review, but that's just going and showing on our internal records of how our technicians are doing and whatnot. So that's great for that aspect of it, but it doesn't go public, which is where our customers are going to be looking to make an educated decision before they buy. So that is kind of leaves us in a bad position to promote those reviews. And then we'd have to go back to that customer, ask them again to leave another review. And 9 times out of 10, they're probably just not going to do that. They have bigger and better things to do with their day. That's one of the last things they're worried about. They've already left a review. So they've already left one. That's all we can really ask from them. We appreciate that. Or what you'll do is we'll send one straight to Google. So we hope they have nothing bad to say, but you know, stuff happens. I get it. Like, I've had customers leave bad reviews. It happens. If, you're a business that's never had a bad review, I just, you're full of shit, because everyone has their bad days and it happens. You may have a technician or someone in your office that's not having the best day, and, has a little bit of attitude with your customers. And that will give these customers the opportunity to provide feedback to the rest of the world that you may not want them to see, because it's not a true representation of your business or how you want to show up in the marketplace. So this is kind of just the way most home service business owners operate. There's no real good rhyme or reason, and no matter which way you ask for the review, or don't ask for the review, you're kind of just left in a situation that doesn't really put you ahead and make sure that you're able to capitalize on getting the most 5-star reviews and getting those only posted to the internet. So now let's break down what the customer does instead of all this. So let's say the customer, they experience our service, great. They're happy, which is awesome. We always want a happy customer, so this is great. But we don't send them a review link or anything like that. Maybe they'll tell their spouse at the end of the day, but typically they're just going to go on with their life. They're not really going to think too much about it, and they're just going to move on. Now, on the other side of that, let's say we have an unhappy customer. So someone that's, maybe they're not like super mad or pissed off, but they're just not very happy about the way the service has been going, or they had a bad conversation with the rep on the phone, or whatever it may be. Now, when this happens, they're going to search for a place to vent. And 9 times out of 10, they're just going to go to Google, Yelp, or Facebook, and that review now goes public. So what ends up happening now, when you get new leads or new customers that are coming in, what they're going to do is they're going to look at reviews before making their buying decision. Now, they do this just to do research, just as you would. Typically before you go to a restaurant, you're going to look at a couple different places around you. You're going to check the reviews. If they have good reviews, you'll probably just go there. If they have bad reviews, you'll probably just get that one right off your list before even giving it a chance or looking at the menu. So what ends up happening is they'll see, maybe a couple bad ones are on there, and then, they're not really going to see any recent ones since you're not asking for it. So what they do is they do their research on other companies, because these two things are massive red flags. They do not want to see these, and these are what holds most small to medium-sized home service businesses back from actually doing very, very well. It's because they just don't have that social proof or that credibility that the service that they offer is actually going to give the customer the results that they're looking for. So that customer does research on other companies and your competitors, and what they're going to do is they're going to go with the competitor that has the most positive and recent reviews. So they're going to look for that 5 stars. They're going to look for anything above, 100 at least, if not 500 or 1,000 5-star reviews is typically what you want to look for as a consumer. So that's typically the company that they're going to end up going with. But they're only going to go with this company if they respond quickly. So if they give them a call and they don't answer, it kind of just sends them right back to square one, doing their research, and then they go right back down this funnel, and it puts them in the same position. So you can see how if you had good reviews, this would kind of prevent all that. But if you already do have good reviews, great, you're way ahead of the curve than most home service businesses, but you're having trouble responding quick, and you want to make sure that they're not just going to go and cycle through that list again and find another company with good reviews. Grab our SOP blueprint that I was talking about before. I break all this stuff down in the instant response SOP. So if you look up here, we could see that is right up here. So yep, instant lead capture and response SOP applies to both sides of the home service industry. So if you're having trouble doing that, I have another video on that. You can go watch that, or just grab the SOP document and look at it yourself. So let's get into how we are able to do our reputation shielding and the system that I created for my business to gain over 500 5-star reviews. So once this service is completed, great. They're going to get an automatic SMS or email review request link. Now, this review request link isn't going to be straight from Google or anything like that. It's going to take them to a landing page or a form on our website, and we're going to ask them about their experience. So we'll ask them, rate your experience 1 through 5 stars. If they respond with 4 stars or more, that's awesome. That's what we want to see. we're going to bump them right out to the Google review page. That way, they click the 4 stars on our form. Awesome. We know they already loved our service. So then they're on the Google review page. They could just leave their feedback right there. After that, we just want to make a little rep assignment, whether that's you as the home service business owner, a management figure, office lady, sales rep, whatever it may be. You want to assign them to express gratitude for the review by responding to it publicly. So you just want to respond to your reviews. It just makes you look a lot more professional and also helps when you are ranking up in the Google search, because typically you'll see a bunch of businesses that pop up. The ones that are the most active and actually responding to their reviews and engaging with their community are the ones that are going to get pushed up higher and higher. So make sure that you're expressing gratitude for the review by responding to them publicly. And it just encourages other people to leave reviews because they know there's more of that personal touch and you actually care. Now, if they respond with 3 stars or less, which is what we don't want to see, this is when we send them to a private feedback form. So instead of them going to the review page, they go to another landing page that we build out, and that sends them to a private form that we're able to hold internally. Now, what ends up happening here is we still want to assign a rep to it, but we want a task set for them to follow up and resolve this negative feedback internally. So that way they're not going to go and post something online or tell their friends about their bad experience or whatever it may be. We can kind of smooth things over on our end and make sure that they end up leaving the situation happy, instead of, venting online. So that's basically the gist of it, and how you're able to get only positive reviews posted public. And this just makes it easier for your customers to come into your business and actually have that trust with you before making their decision. Because if they do not see positive reviews and they're not public, it's just going to be really tough for them to make a decision in going with your business and having full confidence in that. So if you guys have any questions or concerns on any of this, don't hesitate to drop a comment below. And once again, if you guys do want to get all of my SOPs, they're right up here in my recession-proof blueprint. Has everything that you would need as far as attracting, converting, and retaining customers for your home service business. Just hit it in the link below, and I'll see you guys on the next one.